Hi, I'm Josh.
And I'm Miranda, and we love toys.
We're the creators of Clutter, and we make toys with our friends.
This is CZ. He's a UK-based street artist.
Hey, my name's CZ.
Ever since we met, we've been like PB&J.
CZ created the Cambot.
But wait,
Clutter's been around for almost 20 years. We started as a print magazine back in merry old England. 10 years ago, we first presented the Designer Toy Awards. This led us to create a home on the East Coast for the international designer toy community called 5 Points Festival, which we try to make the coolest party every year.
Yay!
Hello! Welcome to Clutter Live on a Wednesday instead of a Thursday.
How odd.
How odd. We want to start tonight's episode by talking about one of our friends who sadly passed away today, Task One. He's going to be very missed in our community of artists and collectors, and our thoughts go out to his family and his friends, and we're super sad. So we just wanted to start off by talking about that. It's just happened recently. So, our thoughts are with everybody out there.
Yeah.
He was really prolific, especially behind the scenes, casting for a lot of artists, usually putting himself on the back burner to create other people's work. So
We were lucky enough to have a show with him a few years ago.
yeah, he was here right before the pandemic. His solo show in 2019.
I think it's so fresh that I don't know what to say about it.
Yeah, well, he gave us these amazing Dunny with tiny Dunnies in the head. I don't know if you can see them. He was just amazing at everything that he did, and he's going to be missed in all areas of his life. So we're very sad about that.
And CZ's not here at the moment. He'll be
Hopefully
joining us.
Hopefully he'll join us later. He's not sure if he can tonight. Day difference makes a difference, so I'm not sure if he can come tonight, but hopefully he'll be able to pop on later. How are you, Alex?
I'm doing all right. Just hanging out here in the back room. How you guys doing up there?
Wednesday hump day. Is it Wednesday?
It is Wednesday.
Oh my God, we're in a different
Instead of
spot.
Thursday. It's very confusing. Everything's a little off today. We've been sick.
Daylight
Gallery
saving time.
Daylight saving time. Everything screwed us up this week.
Yeah.
So strange doing this show in the daylight. It's I'm used to this being
Oh,
a
yeah.
time show, and it's
It's very
So-
sunny out.
afternoon.
It's very
But yeah,
sunny.
we got hit with that weather though, and I think that screwed us up as well. The bomb cyclone, which
Yes.
Was it a bomb cyclone?
I forgot to put a slide.
that dumped like what we get like 8 inches of snow. Snowed 2 days.
Like more.
I think we got
Yeah.
quite a lot of snow actually.
That's crazy. That's crazy. My car got towed.
Your car got towed?
Yeah, oh my God, this was so crazy. So I walked out. I was in Cornwall. I walked out and saw my car wasn't there. The neighbor was like, oh, was that your car? They towed your car. And I was like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. So then I went and got my girlfriend. She came out. She saw that the trees were all bowed over with snow. And then she knocked the trees, and then I got poured on with snow. It was all inside my jacket, all inside my shirt. I was like, oh my God, this is horrible. So then from there, I had to go to the police station where I had to get this report. And basically the cops ran my whole thing, and no warrants, doing good. And then from there, I had to go pick up my car, $450 to get my car because
Why'd they tell you?
during a snowstorm.
Why'd
They
they
told
tell
me because they had to get the plows through, and so it was a $450 mistake. What is going on?
Wow, that's an
Oh,
expensive
no.
mistake, Alex.
Oh,
You
so
could have bought like a toy.
yeah. Totally. I could have bought a few toys, but instead I got my car back, which,
At least you went in the city. That happened to us once in the city. We went to Shaunamalls. Shout out Shaunamalls. Was
Oh,
doing
man.
some live painting in an office in the city. So no warrants yet, exactly.
exactly, yeah.
And we literally ran into the building to say hello to him. And in the 10 minutes we were in there, we came out and they towed the car.
But it wasn't the cops that towed our car. It was the
No.
bounty hunters.
The
It was
bounty
the
hunters.
worst.
Yeah, so they deputize anyone with their own garage in the city or in the in the boroughs can become a deputized member of the squad of the car towing squad. And so they give you a little computer, you drive around, you run people's license plates. If you have a place to tow people to, if a bounty hunter takes your car, it's not at the pound. It's at like whatever random lot they towed you to.
Yeah, that's what they did
And
to me.
you have to go some like little like window downtown in some random office building and find out the damage, and then they'll tell you where your car is. But it's like a 48-hour process.
Oh, dude, it was ridiculous. This place
I
had
had like
Oh wait, you went mute. I can't hear you. You're mute. You're mute. Can you unmute? All right, we're having little technical difficulties here, everybody. Just bear with us. I don't know what happened with this.
Hello.
There you are. You're back.
I'm just going to use this microphone because these microphones are not working.
Wow, weird.
Sorry.
Can you hear us now?
It's been a weird day. It's been a weird day.
It has. Does it sound okay through this microphone though?
Yeah, it sounds fine. You guys sound fine.
Very cool. There you go.
All right.
So
good.
anyway, yeah, I had a bar, and so I had
everybody,
racked up like
welcome.
$2,000 of parking tickets
Oh my god.
when we were doing construction on the bar. You can hear us better.
Oh, interesting.
Dingy
Wow.
Dave can hear us better.
Okay.
So there you
If
go.
you join us in the chat or on Instagram, which I forgot to put on live, thanks for joining us. Come and watch us on YouTube. We're going to be live with Motley Miscreations shortly. We just did a shout out to Task One's family. We're very sad to hear the news. If you have a memory of Task, you want to throw it in the comments over on YouTube, feel free. We'll read them out. I know Task has touched everybody's lives. So we'd love to hear your stories and share some joy, even in the sadness.
I should dedicate the show to him.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So
yeah,
thanks for joining us. Come over to YouTube.
let's try not get too morbid on a Wednesday.
I know, but it's very sad.
No, it is, of course. But yeah. So
What else is new? Oh, we have a drop this week.
yes.
Drop in this Friday at noon is the awesome Ghost Spot from Ghost Fox Toys. It is limited to only 80 pieces and will be $125. And it glows in the dark, red glow,
It's
which is
crazy.
crazy.
It's awesome. Only 80 pieces available. Super limited.
Super duper limited.
Yes.
So yeah, this will be drop-in on Friday on clutter.co. Hello, Elliot.
Hey, what's up, Elliot?
Thanks for joining us. So this is this week. What else? We have 2 shows on display. We have the Rio's Custom Show and the Risa Boogie solo show, which opened Boogie Res show that opened this Saturday.
This is one of the awesome BLM pieces. This one's customized by Clav. It's dope.
It's called Screwface. Some of these are still available on our website. Check them out, clutter.co. Come in person. Call or email to make an appointment to come into the gallery. What other news do we have?
If you didn't catch the show last week with Clav on it, definitely go back on YouTube and check it out. It was a great interview. He was talking about, Wonderfest? And time in Japan. So that was a good one. And we also had Dangerbot hanging out as well for that show too. So definitely check out that episode.
Yeah.
And if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel.
Please subscribe.
Click the button.
Like.
Give us a like. We're trying to get up there.
Switch the pieces on your coffee tea.
Yeah, good call. Thank you, Sarah.
Because you can see my coffee more than
That's amazing. Yeah, exactly. That's
smoking everything. Oh, because it's backwards, it's mirrored, right? Or something. Because my name is right. I don't know.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, move the Ghost Fox piece back a little bit as well, towards Josh. There you go.
Better?
All right.
How's that?
Everyone, can the internet tell me how my hair is? Should I fix it?
Thank you.
Your hair looks great, as always.
Well, I washed it.
That's a first.
It was a big day.
That's
It
great.
wasn't quite a first, but it's a big day. It's a lot of hair.
All right, shall we bring on our special guest
Let's do
this
it.
week? So this week we have kind of double cast extraordinaire. What was it? Double cast extraordinaire, amazing artist, Safubi creator. I know this piece is a lot of people's grail. It's crazy. Just look at the size of it. It is Motley Miscreations. Bring him on, Alex. Bring him on.
Yeah. Oh, I almost fucked it up.
Here he
There
is.
we go. There it is. Awesome.
Put him in the
Oh,
middle.
look at it.
He's
You
changed
You
it.
fixed it.
Yep.
Nice.
How do we get him on the big
Oh,
screen?
oh, I fucked it up.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Oh,
Yeah.
there we go.
Back.
Oh, there we go. I got it in the
Well,
end.
now you're in the
Hello.
hot seat. Well, welcome to Clutter Talks live on a Wednesday. How are you tonight?
Well, like I was telling Josh earlier, I was doing pretty good until I heard about the task stuff.
I know we're all feeling good about that.
Yeah, that's kind of a kick in the teeth. Like that guy, like it's crazy because I would message him out of the blue and ask him for advice on all the stuff I was trying to do, when I was first getting started, and he was gracious enough to respond and just, give me the advice that I was looking for, and it was great the kind of help he was willing to offer to give people that he had no idea who they were.
I think that's a lot of people's experiences with him. He definitely was not shy to help anybody, which was amazing.
Yeah.
Fun guy was behind the scenes.
Yeah, I know that even our business partner in the studio, Corey, has talked with Task, like literally like people who've been in the scene for 5 minutes to people who've been around for a decade or more. Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
upsetting.
Yeah.
It is. He was young with a young family. It's very sad.
It's a small scene, so it's weird when someone goes, because it's like we're all always so happy and like, oh, check out this thing I'm dropping, and like everyone's always hyping each other up, and then like something real happens and it's very confronting.
Yeah, but on the other side of that too, I think people are real quick to help out too when they can, which is always great to see. So
100%. Austin says Task will be missed. He was always willing to share what he knew. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So let's move on a little bit to you and talk about how you got your start and your background. So let's go all the way back and talk about.
And wait, and can I ask, where are you located? Where are you right now?
I'm in Oregon, so like a little tiny town, just about an hour south of Portland.
So where were you born and where did you grow up?
I was born in Oregon.
Yeah.
Grew up in Oregon, like roughly about where I'm at now, but probably 20, 30 minutes away from here. Yeah, just kind of always, the same thing every artist will ever tell you. Like I had a pencil in my hand the day I was born. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what were your influences as a kid?
Obviously like, big, like Saturday morning cartoons, like.
What was your favorite?
Probably Thundercats.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
it's tough because there's like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was all in that era. Thundercats, Silverhawks.
Oh yeah! Wow.
Which one's Silverhawks?
Silverhawks.
They're like chrome bird people. It's like the same exact style as Thundercats, but chrome bird people.
Outer space.
Yeah. And then like I remember waking up early on school mornings because they had like cartoons before school on like channel 12 or something and like me and my brother would watch Conan. It's like we enjoyed the shit out of that one.
Conan was awesome.
Thundercats was like after school for me.
After school. Saturday morning for me.
And like
we had to watch that one on like USA, like the cable channel, when it was like they had like the train driving through.
Yeah.
Like, same time as like GoBots.
Dude. How old's our son? 5?
6.
6? He's watching Mr. Beast. He's not even watching fucking cartoons.
No, I know. It's a different thing now.
It's like they don't. There's no like.
They watch kids playing games.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like
YouTube.
watching other people play Minecraft. Like he's barely watching anything like that.
Yeah, they play Roblox and then go on YouTube and look up about how to do things on Roblox. And
It's
He's gonna be
strange.
40 and be like, "Do you remember that episode of Mr. Beast where they made a golden pizza?" What? Dude,
I hope not.
It's still a shared experience.
It's still a shared experience, but like the stuff we were watching was so much more creative. Like I don't have any problem with Mr. Beast. It's just I know that it's just fucking mindless. You know, it's not a creative endeavor. It's
I always tell my coworkers that whatever drugs they were pumping into the artist back in the 80s must have been way better than what they're pumping into them today.
yeah, man.
100%.
100%. More drugs. Let's all take more drugs. That's what's going to get us through this moment in reality.
So, did you go to art school? What did you
So I went to a state college, and I just went to school for fine arts.
Awesome.
Like I had an idea of what I wanted to do, and so I was kind of able to tailor my education a little bit towards that. So I did like a lot of figure drawing, figure painting. You know, like the vast majority of everything I did was drawing and painting classes. And I actually think it's like one of our prerequisite classes was a sculpture class. And I think that was kind of like the thing that was like, oh, like I really like this. This is really cool.
100%.
And it just kind of like always sat around in the back of my mind. It's like maybe I want to get into that more.
Was that traditional sculpting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things where like over a semester, like you had to do a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So like there was you sculpted like a live model, like their head. We would do like metalworking, like rolling like copper wires and like brazing it and everything. And we got to cast bronze. Like it was really cool stuff, but it's like too much to take in a short amount of time.
Sure. Gives you a good basis though and everything.
Yeah.
So
but I think for any artist, like drawing is always going to be like the most fundamental skill set for just getting ideas down on paper and following through on how to make that look right.
100%.
I used to have that argument with my sculpture teacher, and he would say like, well, drawing is the most primitive primary output. And I would say, well, I like to sculpt first. And I think he thought I was just an idiot. But I do find that I very often just start sculpting.
Yeah, no, I actually like ever since I transitioned over to like the 3D side of things for like my day job, because I used to be a concept artist. So like that meant like I was like designing the things that would go into video games instead of like actually making the things that go in. Like ever since I transitioned over to the 3D side, like I don't start with a sketch. Like I just start mushing shapes together and kind of feeling my way through something to see if it looks how I want it to.
How did you learn to 3D sculpt? Did you teach yourself? Did you go to...
So it was working in the industry that I'm in. Like you're constantly rubbing elbows with people with other skill sets,
which is video game design, right?
Yeah. So like I would just see those guys working. I'm like, man, that's cool, and I just go like bug them and like, hey, I'm trying to do this stuff and I screwed something up. What did I do wrong? And they would come over and help me and, oh, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, and you gotta do this. And it was like, I don't know if you guys have ever tried ZBrush, but it's like one of the most unintuitive things there's ever been built. But then like once you start to get the hang of it, it's like, oh, there's really good reasons for why it's made this way.
Right.
So like once you're kind of over that initial learning curve, it's like really, nice to get your hands on and get figured out and be able to just make the things that you're trying to make.
That's awesome. So do you do 3D sculpting in your day job now as well? Or do you just still do characters that you do?
Oh, yeah.
So are you creating the character concepts as well? Or
No. Like I haven't done like concept art in years now, which is a little bit sad because like those skills definitely atrophy if you're not like trying to keep using them, because if I sat down to like to draw something and be like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
Yeah.
I know they come back, but it's just one of those things that I haven't focused on.
Right. I have the same experience. Once you stop doing something, you have to, it's like takes a lot to get back into it.
Yeah.
But you draw for yourself, or not really? No, you just sculpt for yourself.
No, it's one of those things where it's like the only time you'll find me drawing or painting is like if I'm stuck somewhere, like where I only have like an iPad, where it's like, oh, like we went on vacation and this is all I have. Like it's kind of like a boredom thing rather than I really want to draw something, because I think nowadays, like if I'm gonna make something, I want to be able to touch it. Like I want to be able to hold it when it's done. I don't
Right.
want to just like look at a piece of paper and be like, cool, that kind of turned out how I wanted.
So before we talk about like your process, how did you find out about designer toys? Like what was your entryway? What did you collect? What did you find?
So I don't know where the idea came from. I don't know what spurred it on. I just started like trying to make toys one day, but they weren't designer toys. I was trying to make toys with my kids.
Right.
And I was just doing like these like little robots, and I would like design them modularly so that like you could take the top part off and put on a different bottom part of something else, and like just however many pieces like I wanted to make, but I kept them pretty simple. And it was just kind of like just trying to have fun with my kids and seeing if it would go anywhere. And it's how I got into the 3D printing stuff, and like we like started an Instagram account, and from there I was like as you start searching up like toys on Instagram, it's like all these other things are showing up, and I was like, oh, what is that? Like, oh, that's really cool. Like, and so it was that thing of like seeing all those things because of you're in a different arena that's really close to what you're trying to do. And like that was kind of like what really got me into it and like really interested in it.
You really fell into it very organically.
Yeah. It was like I was doing all the same processes, but just in a slightly different field for like what it was that was like really interesting to me.
So what were some of the first things that you discovered that inspired you?
As far as just like when I was getting into the designer stuff.
Yeah.
So I would say like, do you guys remember? I think he went by the name of like Dave Mark Art.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like he's not really in the scene anymore.
No.
But like I would come across
Nut or something, Dave Mark.
What's that?
Is that the one that became super religious?
I don't know.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
But like I would come across his stuff and like oh man, this is so cool, because like the way that he painted things and like some of the figures that he was painting, even though they weren't his, were like really just exciting to me. But like I know that I saw like, you know, Dunnies where I'm like, oh, that's like those shapes are great. Like who came up with that? Like what is that? And like not really realizing that it was like ubiquitous with designer toys.
Sure.
It's just kind of like, oh, that's really neat. Like someone came up with that. Great job. And like the Tech 63 is like one of the early ones that I saw. I was like, oh man, that's really neat. Like, what is that? So
do you remember what year this was, or around what time frame?
It was like 2016 or 2017.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
So wow, so you came into the designer toy scene really late.
And really
I was like, I think we're gonna have to end this conversation. I don't think you're too new.
Fair.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
It was like,
wait, can we just talk about like when we're like fucking 60 and we're talking to like kids come over like, what's your stuff? And they're like, whoa, 2025, I saw like a blah. We're gonna be like, we're not gonna be able to talk to them. Sorry,
no.
You gave me like a flash forward, like a really negative flash forward.
Yeah, you're gonna be making bootlegs of whatever toys they're into now.
I know.
Yeah.
It's gonna be Minecraft and Roblox.
Oh my god.
No, seriously, my youngest daughter has been like begging me to like, Dad, will you sculpt a Minecraft thing?
Oh,
Dad,
really?
can we make a Minecraft thing? And I'm like, no, it's a block. Go get a block.
How old are your kids?
So I have a 13-year-old, a 11-year-old, and a 6-year-old.
Oh, cool.
Whoa.
So not too different to us then, actually.
Yeah.
So how the hell do you find time to do all this stuff?
My wife is a saint.
Yeah, because that's amazing. That's just amazing. Do they help you? Are they interested in what you do?
Yeah, my wife is like the main person that's out here helping me. Like, she handles all the shipping. If I have like a big casting that I'm trying to do, she'll come out.
What's your wife's name?
Her name is Jill.
Shout out to Jill.
Yeah.
Keeping it going.
But like the kids will be out here, like, they've got like, tables set up with paints and clay, and come out and do their crafts out here and whatever it is they want to keep busy with.
Just want to say hi to Mech Designs, who's out there having breakfast in the Philippines, right? Mech's in the Philippines, I think.
I'm not sure. I don't remember.
And then someone wants to know where your glasses are. Do you know your glasses?
Oh, I just can't see far away, so I don't ever wear them when I'm at my computer.
Aha. There you go.
Fair enough.
And back to the conversation about sketching versus 3D. Someone says, I think sculpting keeps you grounded in 3 dimensions, but a sketch allows for weird 2 dimensions interpretations of a 3D space. True fact.
Yeah, like, so when you're working for video games, like you're given concept art,
Yeah.
and it's obviously like a 2D drawing, and then you have to go and you have to make that into a 3D thing that would actually go into the game. And it's funny how often 2D artists struggle with like spatial awareness of things. And I was probably more guilty of it than anybody when I was on the 2D side. But like, it's just things that just don't work in space in the way that they expect them to.
Oh, yeah.
We know.
We have this argument with that 3D guy all the time. Just do this. That doesn't make sense in 3 dimensions. Like, why?
And it's like,
I mean,
you want to make it exactly like they expect it to be, but then like the second that you turn it, it's like, oh, that doesn't work. Like, you can't do that. And it's a balancing act of trying to make it a happy place.
Absolutely.
yeah.
So, what was the first figure of yours that you sculpted that was a Motley Miscreations sculpt?
That was a Motley sculpt. So I did a rip-off Dunny. I called him Creepy Bunny Face. And it has like a skull plate kind of thing. That is like, it's kind of like the Donnie Darko Frank a little bit.
Okay.
And it's just like a circular plate, and then like the rest of his body is like very Dunny like, except I did the hands and the feet like way more realistic to be just creepy and odd. But that was like the first thing of like, okay, this is a designer toy. Like, this is,
That was the first one intended.
And where does the name come from?
the Creepy Bunny Face.
No.
Motley
Or the Motley Miscreations. So I had a Boston Terrier named Motley.
Yeah.
That he's gone now, but awesome, great dog. He was like our first child before we had kids.
Yeah.
And I have a coworker that is just amazing with names. Like, if you ask him like, hey, like, I made this thing, but I can't think of a name for it. Can you help me come up with something? He'll have something in 5 seconds. Or like, he's ridiculous with puns. Like, you can't talk around him without him coming up with a pun for something. But like I told him, I was like, I want to do something with the name Motley for like my brand name. And he's like, what about this? And I was like, that sounds awesome. Let's go with that. So he was kind of responsible for the full name.
And you didn't look back.
Yep.
That was it. That's awesome. I'm looking to see if I can find a picture of the
Creepy bunny face.
Yeah.
Creepy bunny
Oh
face.
yeah, you have to scroll pretty far for that one.
I see a picture on Skullbrain, but I don't think it's of that. It's like a bear with a skull with like big teeth. Yeah, I don't think that's it.
Yeah, you can't go to Skullbrain.
Skullbrain, I know. That was brave of you.
Yeah, you're already being gatekeeped.
Yeah. Well,
That
is
was
that the
like
first
that.
place you went to, Skullbrain? Because that's terrifying.
No, I discovered Skullbrain after going to my first designer con. I was like, oh, there's other communities, and then like the further I dug into Skullbrain, I was like, oh, I don't want this.
Yeah.
Although I do have a guilty pleasure of going into the fuggliest toys you've seen while collecting thread,
Yeah.
and it always just brings great joy to my heart whenever I find something of mine in there.
I'm surprised it's still going. Skullbrain. I didn't think it was.
They
But
didn't
there you
eat
go.
themselves alive.
No, it's still there. Still there. That's amazing. That's amazing. I'm too scared to look at Skullbrain. I think
Yeah,
I've only ever been there twice.
There's a lot of salt there. A lot of
Yeah.
salt.
Oh, yeah. Since day one, though.
Yeah.
Since day one.
I feel like
It's kind of like all old school forums. That's just how they are.
It's true. It's
Yeah.
true.
Skullbrain comes up a lot in Clutter Live. Can you just give like a rundown on like what this is for people who may not know?
Skullbrain was Super Seven's forum from back in the day. It's been around since the dawn of time, and it's full of collectors that don't care about what you think.
Human emotion.
So it is brutal. It's brutal.
It was like the kaiju drama personified.
Versus the
place.
Kid Robot forum, which was also full of drama, but full of like Western vinyl drama.
Yeah.
So, both of the forums were like that. But there are also places where people could talk about their collections and have fun. So, they were very important.
They talked about how like people would get mad at you if you posted about an upcoming release on Skullbrain. Because if you posted about it, then other people are going to know about it. Now your chances aren't going to be as good to get the thing.
Right.
Whoa.
The Wild West. We had to post something on there. I don't remember what it was about.
We did a Skullbrain show.
I know we did, but we had to post something else on there.
I don't remember.
It was terrifying.
10 years ago.
It was longer, but it was terrifying.
I didn't even know it still existed. I really feel like that's something from the dawn of
Time.
Yeah, like I
It
feel like
is.
that like went away.
No. Still there.
They're still out there, still fighting, killing each other, self-immolating.
Yeah.
Should we talk about this guy?
Well, there's not
No,
not
not
yet.
yet,
Not yet.
not
I
yet.
mean, you have so many different veins in your work.
Yes.
So I don't feel like we really talked about like you love monsters, obviously, and you're really into resin and you're really into Safabi.
There's creepy cute. There's something creepy cute about what you do too. It's never like super gory. It's more on the cute side of monster than the like I'm dripping in blood and scary.
Well,
It is.
sure. Just some pretty creepy
There
stuff.
is. But in general.
But overall, I mean, I think you have a design aesthetic that lends itself towards like more of a beautiful angle than like just a horror angle or just some like this like creepy, weird, ugly angle. So okay, fine. How did you go? So you got into Skullbrain because you obviously were into Safabi at a certain point. So like you started seeing Dunnies, you started seeing random stuff. What was your Safabi connect, or what did you fall in love with in that world that then like led you to Skullbrain?
I think just seeing all the stuff from like Lulu Bell, and
Okay.
like that was kind of like the connection. And back then, like I thought that you had to go through them to get something made in vinyl, like because I just hadn't done any of the homework.
Yeah.
And so like a lot of it was that, but I think like the thing that really was like, oh man, like I really like this stuff was Groman stuff.
Yeah.
Because like it was just like I'm a big fan of like structure in art. Like I don't like things that like don't make sense to me. And I think in a way like I kind of have like a weakness in where like I tend to like compartmentalize things because of that. But like seeing his stuff, it's like, okay, like, everything is the way it should be, even though like it's crazy and hyper detailed and everything else. But like the structures are all there. Like he knows his anatomy, he knows proportions, like he knows how to push and pull, and like the guy is just a master of his craft, and like I really gravitated towards that. And so like kind of like seeing his stuff and then like digging further into it was kind of like the thing that like grabbed me in that world.
So was it Roman stuff that you saw first in Safubi then that kind of dragged you around to that?
I mean, I'm sure I saw other stuff first, but I think Groman stuff was the first thing that was like, whoa, I love this.
So the Rotten Rex.
Sure, like King Corpse, Rotten Rex.
But King Corpse isn't Lulubelle.
No. I'm just saying, like,
I'm trying to get into a corner. I don't know why.
I only knew like a tiny little bit, and it was kind of like think you have an idea of how this all works, and then like the whole world unfolds to you, and you're like, oh, I had no idea what I was looking at.
Yeah, no, and there's in some ways there's like so many of us doing it, and there's so many incestuous overlaps, and it's like, who made this with who owns this mold, who's like, and then how did you get that exclusive, and how did you do this? There's a lot of that. But so you fell in love with that world, and then you also got into resin casting. So you were resin casting immediately.
Yes. Yeah, that like I was doing the robots in resin and like magnets and resin and trying to make that all work.
Resin cast. Did you?
So wait, were you into Glyos?
Oh.
No. I mean, like Glyos are cool, but I never collected them.
Okay. Fair enough.
So how did you learn to resin cast? What was your introduction to learning that?
Is just buying the materials and like
just doing
Google searches and being incredibly unsafe with my practices and
that's how we all start.
Yeah, just like this is fine, right? You don't need gloves.
Ventilation.
You didn't get sick.
No.
You're lucky. Are you allergic to cats?
Say it again.
Are you allergic to cats?
No, but my kids are.
Are they really? Because I think there's like a direct connection between being allergic to cats and being allergic to resin.
Really?
Well, I think that.
For you, Dr. Josh.
I'm a believer already.
I'm a party doctor.
Nice.
I'll dole out advice and prescriptions at parties.
Well, I'll make sure and keep my kids away from the resin.
Do that.
And with ChatGPT, we could all be lawyers. It's great. So anyway, sorry. I don't mean to derail the conversation.
You started to design robots with your kids, and you were like, "I'm just going to past this." Like that was the first thing you thought about.
Say it again.
When you decided to do the robots with your children, and you just instantly thought, "I'm going to resin cast these." Like that's what you wanted to do.
Yes. So, yeah. Like so I had. I guess I should amend my statement slightly.
There you go. We know you're lying.
we had gone to Disneyland.
Okay.
And I had bought a couple of the vinyl motion figures.
Oh yes.
If you're familiar with those, they like stack together.
Yeah.
And they're like a squishy resin, I guess. I don't know what material they were, but I was trying to like replicate that with the materials that I was using, and it was like super viscous resin and it cured impossibly fast, and it was just a nightmare to try and make work.
So were you like, I like these, and then you looked online to figure out what they were made from, or
no, it was like Google searches of like how to make this thing and how to do this, and like the most random things that like you pretty soon you have 600 tabs open, and you're pretty sure you can't close any of them because they all have relevant information.
Right. You'll never see them ever again. So yeah. Totally. That's just how your brain works. You're like, I want to make this. I'm going to figure out how to do it.
Well, I still do that to where I'm like, I'm trying to figure out how to do something, and then like I'll do a Google search, and then like some random product on Amazon will show up, and I'm like, that looks interesting. And then you click on that, and you find the real name of it, and then you start searching the real name of it, and it just takes you on this journey of like figuring out what the things are that you're trying to do that you didn't know the real name of, and it's
You
just
fall
all
down a hole.
yeah.
That's awesome. That's cool. So you're not afraid to get in there and get your hands dirty and go for it.
No,
And
I have an older brother who's an engineer,
that helps.
and he's like his brain just works completely different from mine. And I'm constantly like messaging him like, hey, what would you do to try and do this? Like, and what kind of tool would you buy if you were trying to do this thing?
Yeah.
And the other day, with my resin castings, I typically will like include like a pretty big foot on the, like it's almost like a build platform on the bottom, because I want to be able to have all that extra resin to be able to pull down into the mold when it's pressurizing.
Yeah.
And that ends up being kind of a pain to remove.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And for the longest time, I was using it's like a multi-tool
Mm-hmm.
with a blade on the end.
Dremel multi-tool?
No, it's like an oscillating tool,
Right.
not a rotary. So it's kind of like a vibrator with a blade on it.
Like a saw. Like
We
like
use the Dremel one that has like little teeth and it oscillates.
Yeah. That's what I was using.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And the other day I just got it in my head. I'm like, that's not good enough anymore. I need a better solution for this.
Yeah.
And I was looking up like miniature sawzalls.
Uh-huh.
Like there's got to be something like that. And I found a pneumatic air saw.
Oh yeah, that's
sounds
perfectly
terrifying.
safe. That's no, those are super safe. They only cut off your hands.
Yeah. I sent it to my brother. I'm like, what about this? And he's like, you should not have that tool at all.
No.
So I bought it, and I haven't cut myself yet.
Why not
Oh my
a
gosh.
bandsaw?
Is that
Oh
what-
no, bandsaws are scary.
Maze cut his finger off with the sawzall.
Shout out to Maze.
What's up, Maze? Is it Maze
Love
1, 2,
you.
3?
It was just Maze 1.
No, Maze 23.
I don't know.
Maze
I don't
23.
know.
Yeah, no, a good friend of ours cut the
He's good.
first finger of his right hand off with a
The
sawzall.
sawzall?
Yeah.
He was the designer for Kid Robot's clothing. He did all of the.
You would have to have like some aggressive teeth on that blade.
He slipped and they couldn't find the finger. And so they rushed him to the hospital, and then they found the finger. We were working in television production. So I knew Maze not from Kid Robot. I knew him from working like odd, just doing extra like PA art, what do you call it? Art department stuff for television. And so he cut off his finger, couldn't find it in the shop. They drove him to the hospital. They found the finger, brought it to the hospital. By the time they got to the hospital, they'd already closed him up, and they were like, it's too late. And I think like how many years later we saw him, he was working at Mishka as a designer. And I made this like a little joke to him about his hand. And he looked at me and he was like, it's not funny. Like it was like 10 years later.
He's so upset.
He's still upset.
Fair.
Like,
Fair.
I was like, I'm so sorry. I was like, but you know, it was like 10 years ago. It's like, it's still not funny, dude.
I definitely would have ended up making something with that finger.
Yeah. Encapsulated in resin
Can you imagine?
forever.
You
Yeah,
can't
sure.
encapsulate. You have to mummify.
Yeah, because it's
First, you have
organic
to mummify
material.
it.
Yeah.
Don't put it in your resin, people.
One time I was telling someone about how you can't encapsulate organic material. I was at this gallery on the Lower East Side. And were you
Oh,
with
yeah.
me?
Not this
You
time.
were with me there?
Not
I
this
told you all
time.
what happened. It was so
Yeah.
disgusting. So I was explaining that we were resin casting, and actually it was part of, I was showing you that thing earlier. It was part of that whole world. And that didn't make any sense to anyone watching the podcast. I was showing, before we came on, I was showing Brandon this resin piece that we made a long time ago. And I went to this gallery and we were discussing resin production, and they're saying, why don't we put like a cantaloupe in resin? I was like, you can't, like it will rot internally and eventually explode. And the gallery owner goes, oh, well, someone brought me a dozen eggs in a block of resin like a year ago. And I was like, really? Where is it? And then he was like, in my office. And I was like, can I see it? And he was like, sure. And he goes into his office and he comes out with it and it's fucking leaking,
Oh,
right?
man.
And he walks it out. And as he's holding it, it does the thing, like right there, where it just breaks open. And it's this putrid sulfur,
Oh my god.
dozen eggs.
You're
They
like, yes,
ran it
exactly.
out of this beautiful gallery, ran it out and threw it in the street on the Lower East Side onto the sidewalk, and it fucking exploded. It was disgusting. Don't put
eggs in
don't put a
resin,
finger in resin.
guys.
Don't put organic material.
I think,
Mummified.
I think I'm gonna make double cast eggs for the next.
There you go.
Like, you want it now, but in 6 years, you're really gonna want it.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh,
Oh my
ooh,
god.
so gross.
Oh my god. I don't know where we've taken
We were
that to.
talking about sawzalls. No, but the other one, the saw that really used to scare me in art school was the radial arm saw. Because that was the one where they were like, if you just put your arm here and you go like that, you just take your arm off. So don't do that. Like, okay.
You can't plant that idea in someone's head. Like, yeah, just don't do this one thing. You're like, I'm gonna end up doing that now.
I never went near that machine ever through my whole time at the university because I was just like, fuck that thing.
Yeah, I have like an irrational fear of table saws because
Because of that.
like people like telling you like, oh yeah, that'll shoot that board right back through you. It'll go right through your stomach.
Yeah.
I can use a table saw then.
My mom cut her fingers off with a what's it called? Not a chainsaw,
No,
but
it's the hedge trimmer.
hedge trimmer. Yeah.
Miranda's mom is gangster. So I'm
did.
so glad we're on this.
Finger cutting off
Just
story,
fuck,
tangent.
yeah, because I've got a good one after. But no, but your mom, she dropped it.
Yeah, and
And
cut
it
off
bounced
the tip
down
of,
her
like 3 of the
hands.
fingers. Yeah.
Whoa.
And so she called me and she was high on like pain medication. And she was like, they took me on a helicopter. It was amazing. Like, tell me this whole story. Meanwhile, like, she's had like crazy surgery on her fingers.
They saved her fingers
They did.
with
But
leeches.
yeah, they reattached them. And then a few days later, they were like, well, I don't think it's going to work. We're going to have to remove them. And my mom was like, please, let's just try something else and keep them for a few more days and see what happens.
They're like, her fingers were like ice cold. They're like,
And
we
they
don't
were
think we're
black.
getting any blood flow.
They were black too. And they're like, okay. So
No, they weren't black.
They were on the ends.
Oh,
I've got
okay,
pictures.
okay.
They were. And so they bought leeches out and put leeches on the ends of her fingers, and that's what saved them.
Yeah.
So
Wait, leeches?
leeches. Yeah.
Like
To
some
stop-
old school.
Yeah.
Like,
Or British healthcare
To
system.
pull the blood through the
Yeah.
fingers and
And it
keep the
worked.
blood flowing through the
Oh my
fingers, and it saved.
Yeah.
She has to wear gloves like
When
in
it
the
gets really
summertime,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
because they
cold.
can't, because her hands just get cold, like they still have poor circulation, and we all know about women's hands.
Get cold
Anyway.
Yeah, it's true.
So
But
Hey, that's not a woman thing. My hands get cold all the time too.
Yeah.
hey,
I was gonna say, here we go.
what do you do as soon as you pressurize your pressure pots?
You say
Whalem thinks he's funny. So Whalem is Spumoni Toys. If you guys know who that is.
Spumoni?
Yeah. So him and I have shared booths at several conventions together now, and we talk about stupid things while we're in downtimes. But I was telling him that like when I cast something, like typically what I do, because of another one of my maybe irrational, I don't know, one of my fears is like I'll tighten the lid down on the pressure pot and like connect the hose and then run out of the room.
Yes. It's not a rational fear, but yes.
It's a little.
I don't want to get exploded with the lid of a pressure pot.
No.
I mean, that's not what's going to happen.
Is it not?
So early days of like researching resin casting stuff, I came across probably the same Harbor Freight paint pressure pot guide that everybody has used at some point.
Yep.
It was like this like wood turning forum, like pen wood turning, something like that. And the guy, I didn't read far enough in, but it was like the guy had made this like cautionary post about like, you gotta be really careful with these Harbor Freight pressure pots. like I was in the shop and I turned it on. I went to go work on something else, and the lid shot through the wall across the other side of the shop. And it was like, oh my God, like this is terrifying.
Yeah.
If you read further in the thread, it says that he was using his Harbor Freight pressure pot, pressuring it up to 110 psi.
Well,
Right,
that'll
right,
do it.
right.
Oh my God.
Right.
What the hell was he putting in there at 110 psi?
I mean, that's over its safety.
That's
Oh, I like double.
yeah,
Well, I mean, we take them up pretty high.
not that high.
Not that high, but we take them up pretty close to that.
I'm a big fan of like
Yep. Yeah, we do.
40. Big fan of like 40.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just don't want to get exploded.
Oh,
You know. I mean, we all do what we do. We used to have a. I was going to tell a table saw story, but have you ever tried?
We got to hear the table saw story.
I like that you call it the foot because I think for a while I called it a foot too.
probably what it is called.
I don't call it that anymore, but for a long time I called it the foot. I found like an old, like jeweler's. What do you call it? With like the spinning buffing wheel? It's
Like a
like
lathe?
no, it's like a stone and a buffing thing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But it's like it looks like it's from the 30s. And I just found it, plugged it in, it still worked. And so I would just grind the foot off on the stone. And it was just like, and it was so satisfying. But it would just make a mad, like this, giant plastic swirl.
So much dust everywhere.
So much dust. So much dust. And I can't be around any of that shit anyway. He added a washer to the top to save the lid. What? Well, yeah, you mean like a silicone washer? There's a washer inside.
Oh, no,
Your own silicone washer?
he's talking about the pressure pot that the guy exploded across the room.
Oh, that guy. Oh, the guy who exploded across from me added his own rando washer? Yeah. Fair enough. So, when did you, so after you did the creep, Miranda will be back in a second, but that's funny, right? After you did the creepy
bunny face.
I wanted to call it like Death Bunny, but that'd be a different.
It's a good name too.
What was your next like kind of major thing that you created?
So, and the next thing I did was King Creepy.
Okay.
And that was, you'd have to go look it up, but it was kind of like in the same vein, like stylistically,
Okay.
but it wasn't really inspired by anything else. It was just like a post-it note doodle that I did during a morning meeting one day at work. I was like, I'm gonna make this next.
Okay.
Do you know how many sculpts you've made?
No, a
Okay.
lot.
It's a lot, yeah. It's total. And you keep your runs pretty low, and you make new sculpts all the time.
I just get bored really easily.
Every time I go on Facebook, I see like, a new sculpt. I'm like, wow, a new sculpt. It's crazy. How long does it take you to do them?
I don't know. Like I typically tell people like for a more complicated sculpt, I'm probably going to be spending like 3 or 4 days on it. And that's not like consistent. Like I finished it in 4 days or 3 days. Like it's not the way my brain works. Like I can put 2 hours towards something, and then I got to move on to something else, and then the next day I can maybe put an hour on it, and it's just kind of how it works.
Yeah.
And you don't sleep, clearly. You just work.
Sleep is
Underrated.
Overrated.
we need a lot of time to sleep when we're dead.
That's true. That is true.
Absolutely.
All right. Can we talk about this now?
Yes,
please?
yes.
Please. So when did you do this Kickstarter now? All time is gone for me.
So I think that was like pandemic times, right?
Was it in the pandemic?
I think so.
Oh my God, I don't even know anymore. So this is just a goddamn beast. It's so cool. It's one of my favorite things ever. So you sculpted this, and then you're like, I'm going to make that. And then you're like, oh my God, that's crazy. Right? In that order. So you did this on Kickstarter. So how was that experience for you?
It was good because it was like a really well received Kickstarter.
Yeah.
That was fun, but like by the time that we had actually like finished it all, and then you guys have been there, 5 times over that, but it was just so draining by the time it was all done. It was like, oh my God, like this was so much work.
They want to see it on the big screen.
Yeah.
Let me
I can show the one I've got.
Who,
Right
who
Yeah,
helped
sure.
you? Did you join it yourself?
Oh,
That's a nice one.
That's beautiful. Did you paint that one?
that's so good.
Is that your paint job?
Yes.
That's awesome.
You also airbrush. Right?
Yeah.
Airbrush?
Yeah. I have not been painting as much as I would like to the last few years, but I'll get back to it eventually.
Here he is.
Did you join this yourself?
No. So I typically what I'll do is when I sculpt it, like I'll send it to the factory that I'm working with, and they'll tell me where they want the joints at. So then I'll split it there, and I'll key it together in a way so that like they can put it together like in a preliminary fashion, and then like they'll do the joints after the fact in the way that they want to do them, because I feel like every factory has like their own little quirks of the way they do joints.
Is this 12 pieces?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, 12.
Yeah, crazy. I never counted how many parts it was before.
And is it?
It's too many.
It's a lot. So you also put all these together yourself. So that was a headache.
Well, that one goes back to the saint of a wife. She was sitting at the kitchen table just with the heat gun.
Yeah.
Is this China or Japan?
China.
It's great.
It's awesome.
So good. I love this clear green.
We're
too.
getting like much better clear and translucent pulls out of China.
Yeah.
In the last couple of years. Were we talking about this publicly?
Yeah, last week, I think.
Were we talking
I think
about
so.
publicly last
Yeah.
time? Yeah, like back in the dawn of.
Hand cast eyes
Ten-
as well. Dingy Dave brings it up. You could pick. You could pick the eyes, right? If I remember.
I actually heard Dave is going to be making me some fancy eyes for a Kraken run in the future.
Oh, good.
Cool.
That's awesome. Good job.
Does he
Dingy
know
Dave.
about that?
Not yet.
That's so funny.
It's a beautiful piece.
Yeah, it is.
It's really.
Have you guys heard of it's like it's Quail Toy, but it's like Sagara Mark or something like that. It's another vinyl place in the States
Huh.
that's been pulling vinyl, and I was talking to Wonder Goblin, and he was telling me that they've got some pretty good clears going.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
So I'm definitely keeping an eye on them.
Okay.
That's awesome. We'll check it out.
Yeah. No, I have not heard of them. Where are they located?
It's in California because do you guys know who Akashic Records is?
No.
Oh.
He goes by Akashic Records Toys on Instagram. Akashic, like AKA.
Okay.
But he's actually been like doing some of the polling for them.
Awesome.
There are a few
Acacia
people over the years who
Records.
have done it, and some have done it well, and then they've gone away. So it's interesting. We'll have to look it up.
You'll have to look it up later because otherwise
Yeah.
I'm going to get sucked in.
Absolutely.
So you had a relatively good experience on Kickstarter. Would you do it
Yeah,
again?
no, like both of my experiences on Kickstarter have been overwhelmingly positive, but it's just so draining by the time you get anything finished, and like it just sits in the back of your mind constantly
Yeah.
as like oh my gosh, like I can't move forward with anything until this is done. So it's just, you know, I don't like massive runs of things. Like, so I think moving forward, like, you know, I can't say that I don't have another Kickstarter in my future, because you never know like what crazy idea you come up with and you're like, I can't afford to do that on my own.
100%.
But I think as long as I can self-fund the things I want to do, like that's the route I'll go, because I can control the pace
Yes.
Right.
when it comes to that stuff.
100%. It is so stressful. There's so many hurdles you don't anticipate when you're doing a Kickstarter too.
Yeah.
So you use a lot of tentacles in your work too. I've noticed it's an ongoing theme. Do you like octopus? Is it sea creatures? Any creatures? It's just like monsters.
It's just, it's one of those things that I think artists of a certain type fall back on. Where it's like if you tell me to sit down and draw something, I'm probably going to draw a skull.
Right.
You know, I'm like, hey, draw something weird. Okay, like I drew a tentacle doing, you know, I don't know. It's just your subconscious dominating stupid things that you can't kind of help but have it come out on paper.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's true.
So
Go on.
I guess like the backstory of the tentacle or the kraken itself, like back when I was doing a lot more painting, like I was doing like comic conventions and like selling prints and stuff. And my wife was like, you know, saint of a wife again. She was like, hey, it'd be really cool if you did like an octopus piece or like a kraken. And so like I started sketching this thing out, and like, you know, I'd show it to her and she's like, that's cool, change this, do this, do this. And like eventually like what came of it was like the most popular print I've ever done. And like at every convention that we ever went to, it was the best seller. And so we just got the idea, like, what if we turn that into a toy? And it worked.
I love that its center of gravity sits on this large bulky part, but it has all these flailing limbs. Like it's really well engineered.
Yeah.
That's not on purpose.
Yes.
My brain doesn't think that far ahead.
It's awesome.
No, but it makes a lot of sense, because if you tried to actually articulate every arm, it would become a nightmare.
Yeah.
Sorry,
it would become an engineering nightmare. So this was like a good way to tripod it.
Yeah.
Without going down a bad road.
Yeah. Like, and I thought for sure without like those front two legs, like there was no way it was going to stand on its own. But it kind of does.
It totally does.
I have to say though,
in the ground.
Like this piece, like in these cases at the clutter gallery cases, I mean, there's so many toys. This piece has so much presence that your eye is just naturally drawn to it all the time. Like I still see things that like I never picked up before, but I see this kraken every single time that I walk into the gallery, and that's cool to be able to dominate that space. So I mean, congratulations for creating such an awesome thing.
It is imposing.
That's really cool to hear. Like you don't plan any of that kind of stuff out. It's just, you know, one of those happy surprises, like when it's all done.
So we have it balancing just on the main part and the bottom, and it totally is stable. So it doesn't need the other arms to touch the ground.
I totally planned that out.
We know you
can
did.
tell. We can tell it's perfect. You've created the perfect toy.
Yeah, we can all stop now.
Yeah.
It's
I
genius.
peaked.
No, never.
That's fucked
No,
up.
I never noticed this little mouth in here before. Did you
Oh,
notice
look at that. No, I've never seen that before.
We clearly haven't looked at it hard enough.
Well, that's the
Like
kind of
this
thing that
beak.
might like elude you if you didn't know about it.
Yeah, his little beak here. We never noticed this before. Wow. It's very alien looking beak. I love it. I love it. So do you collect anybody else's work? Do you have a collection of things?
I have a collection, but I don't really collect anything in particular. Like I think just being in this scene, you end up with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And like not even really trying to. So I've got like, a shelf above me that's, any normal person would be like, holy crap, you have a lot of toys. And you'd be like, oh, I guess. Like, didn't mean for it to be that way, but I do.
Right.
But like I would say like my wife is more of like the driving factor and like the things that I would want to get, even though I don't have them yet. Like she's constantly watching the Muffin Man Robins, and she's like, "Oh, are you gonna get me one? Are you gonna get me one?" I'm like, "I'm not gonna be able to get you one." Then she's been they're like York Ghost Merchant. It's this shop in York that makes little ghosts.
York, England.
And she's obsessed with them.
York Ghost Merchants comes up first thing. York, if you've ever visited York, is beautiful. So I recommend you take a trip there because it's
Okay, I'm convinced.
yeah. Just take it to the shop. It's the best. Wow, look at this.
Yeah, they're super cool.
This looks like that person's work over there.
What are you looking at? What's is it?
I'll pull it up. Should I pull it up and show
Yeah.
everybody? All right.
Curious.
I
So,
remember how to share my screen. So hang on a second. Share screen. Share. Talk amongst yourselves. Is it
You know
shared?
what we need?
Can you add it? I can probably add it.
yeah.
York, okay, not New York.
Oh.
Old York.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't it look like what Lisa?
Yeah. The ceramic artist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's look. Share this tab instead.
Let's buy one.
Oh.
That'd be fun if we sat here and just bought stuff live.
These
That
are
would be a whole other segment of the show where we just,
That might be the most popular show you ever do.
right?
fine.
You know?
Why are they gonna like
Like, we lost so much money that day, but people love the show.
That would be so fucking crazy, right? It's like that.
Lisa August, I want to say her name is. This is
Oh,
very.
yeah. Look at that. Very similar. Absolutely. Yeah, these are pretty good. 12,000 likes as well. I mean, you can't go wrong.
Crazy.
Crazy.
I
Amazing.
mean, that's a bloody ghost.
That is a bloody
The
ghost.
bloody ghost.
Go back to here, our story. Look at these guys.
Nice. Oh, you need a bowler cap and some creepy ghosts. Live in York. You got the whole.
Why are we looking
I
at this
mean-
and not looking at his? Pull up
Well-
his Instagram. Pull up Brandon's Instagram. To look at his work.
We absolutely will, but he's just told us about this. York is very haunted. It's very old. It's very beautiful.
Do you think it's more haunted than Savannah?
Yes, it's older.
Yeah, it's a walled city. I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's this crazy walled city.
It's
And
so good.
I haven't been there, and I think you're an asshole for bringing it up. But like,
Have I never taken you to York?
no, I don't want
I've
to.
taken you to lots of other amazing places, but
You have.
Yeah.
No,
we'll go to York next time.
definitely my favorite place in England so far was Bath.
Oxford? Oh, Bath.
Bath.
Bath, huh?
Bath. Bath. No, they all say Bath, but you would think that they would say Bath.
Yeah, you would think that.
Yeah.
Maybe, King Charles says Bath.
Brandon, have you ever been to England?
Miranda, how long have you been in the U.S.?
14 years this year in July.
I'm waiting for when she's been.
Has the accent, has it lessened at all?
Yes,
Has
100%.
it?
Oh my God.
Yes.
Yeah. When I talk to people at home now, they're like, what kind of accent have you got? I mean, I've got a cold today, so I sound crazy, but
We're totally suffering from not just the events of the day, but the daylight savings really messed us up with our
Yeah.
kids. Really messed with our kids, and then we've all had colds. So like our kids have barely gone to school this week.
yeah.
Like it's just been a shit show in our house.
But I had to water down my accent so
Sorry.
that people could understand what I was saying.
It
Like
started
that
with
happened fast. It
water.
started with water. Water. What's water?
Water.
Water. Water.
Water.
You have to say
Water,
water with
water.
a T, not water with a T.
I have a coworker that's been in the States since at least the mid 90s.
Yeah.
And like his accent has not gone away.
Well, we know that Miranda's been here too long because she started saying sauce.
Sauce.
Well,
Yeah, it's true. And
How do you say coffee?
I
exhausted.
still say coffee the same, but
Coffee.
I can't do it in
Which
New
one?
York. Coffee.
Coffee. No,
Yeah.
but the other day she told me she was exhausted.
I did. And it's like, oh, we've got to get you home.
She needs to sleep in the soil of her motherland.
Yes. To re-up the accent.
Yeah.
Get a nice little refresher on it.
Yeah, exactly. So, but anyway, I recommend you go into York. Take your wife on vacation. It's great.
All right, I'm convinced.
Okay, good.
Have you been to England? I didn't hear the answer to that.
Yeah, we've been to London just for probably like 3-4 days.
Yeah.
Go to York.
I feel like London is like, it's so touristy. It's not a great representation of England.
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't really learn anything about England in London that you don't learn in a book.
What always like caught me off guard, and this was back in like 2006, I want to say. It was like the dollar to pound conversion was 2-to-1,
Mm-hmm.
but everything cost the same numerical value. So it was like if you bought a soda for $2 at home,
Yes.
it was £2 in London. You're like, that soda's not worth $4.
Totally.
Yeah.
I had the same complaint. Like when we go, I feel like at the airport, it doesn't happen to you at the airport, but it's sort of like when they change your money, you get half your money and then everything costs 4 times the price.
Yep.
So like if you go out to a pub and you have 4 burgers and 4 beers and it's like 110 pounds because you're at a nice place. And it sounds expensive for 4 burgers and 4 beers, but let's just say you had a few beers, you had a couple of like whatever, like you just went out to the pub, 110 pounds, like that wasn't $220 worth of food.
No.
And you already took half my money before I even started the game.
Yeah.
It's messed up.
Here's your invite to Vienna.
I'm up for going just about anywhere.
Yeah.
Dude, you're down to fucking right. Are you like, are you ride or die in life? Like, can we bury some bodies together, man?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, do I get gloves when I have to use the shovel? I get blisters easily.
Yeah.
You can run out of the room after we fucking like we'll hit the guy over the head with the shovel and you can run out of the room in case.
Perfect.
I was gonna say Alex buried a few bodies.
We went to Turkey.
You went to Turkey
2 years ago, I want to say.
Wow.
And that was
it correctly.
What is it?
What's that?
You're not pronouncing it correctly.
Turkey?
Yeah.
How do you pronounce it?
They made a big thing like in the last 6 months. They want everyone to say Turkey. Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah.
I never heard that.
None of us did that.
Nobody complained to me, but I probably didn't actually say Turkey when I was in Turkey.
Spend some time on
Turkey,
YouTube. Do some deep dives. Sorry. Go on.
But there, like you go exchange your money, and that's great. They use it's like lira or something.
Yeah,
I
lira.
can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
But
It used to be like that all over Europe. When we used to go to like France or Amsterdam or anywhere, it used to be amazing right before the euro that flattened all that.
Isn't Turkey? Do they don't have the
They have
euro?
their own currency.
no.
They're not actually European Union.
I don't know.
They're like a side.
Even like Greece was like, yeah, you're spending euros, but everything was still really cheap.
They're giving it away in Greece.
Yeah, well, it wasn't like that back in the day. If you're following it in the chat and you want to drop some questions to Brandon, feel free. We'll pull them up on the screen.
Yeah.
Also, like and subscribe and do the YouTubey things. Thank you.
Smash that like button.
Smash it. Smash it.
Smash that like that.
Smash it. So what do you
Have
prefer working in, vinyl or resin?
I don't have a preference. It's just kind of whatever the way my dumb brain is thinking on any given day.
I thought you were going to say resin because you could control how fast you put it out and you can control every aspect of it.
I do really like that. That is like to me the benefit of doing resin,
Yeah.
because like there is a beauty to knowing that all of the flaws that are in the piece are your fault.
Yes.
You know, like there's something about that where it's like I controlled the process start to finish. And so if something isn't right, that was my fault.
Right.
Whereas in vinyl, like you're giving up a lot of control there, and when something isn't right, or some tiny little thing that you notice that kind of nags at you, like you couldn't control that.
Yeah.
It's that terrifying moment when the shipment comes in and you open the box to see what you actually got.
Yeah. That's one of those things that you probably can't ever appreciate with very many people.
It's
true.
And we had it with, when we used to print the magazine, we had it as well.
That's true.
Like,
you're so excited about this new thing, but you're also like just dreading what you're gonna find. Like what is gonna be the thing that drives me crazy?
100%. Like, it's nice when you've got a product and you've really ironed out the kinks and you can be excited about it. But every time you really mix it up and you get that shipment in, it's just gut wrenching.
Yeah.
What am I going to find when I open the box? Like, what didn't we think of? When we made the changes to the prototype, what didn't happen?
No, I did a run of plush Wendy's. I don't know if you ever saw those.
Yeah, I was just looking at them.
And like the prototype that the factory sent me was amazing. Like it turned out so good and so clean and so crisp.
Yeah.
And then like the bulk order that they sent me was garbage.
Oh man.
Like most of it was fine, but they had done like the antlers in like, they must have done it with like a laser cutter or something, because it was just like super jagged for all of the antlers. So like for any of them that we've sold, like of those, like we've actually like gone through and pulled off the antlers and like put on our own.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dude, I know your pain. We got a shipment in of something that I can't talk about,
Oh.
and we've spent probably 100 hours at this
Fixing
point
them.
fixing
Yeah, it's true.
fixing a problem that we just never anticipated. Like, and I'll never be able to talk about it.
The life of a toy maker.
He is.
No one can know. No one
The
can
pain,
know.
no one can
Oh
know
my
the
God.
pain.
It's crazy that there are all these things we can't talk about.
Yeah.
This-
But like maybe in like 15 years when they've been sitting in someone's collection for all that time and nobody's noticed the flaw, you can be like, guess what I had to do to all of these.
Yeah.
At some point. Yeah, but then I get accused of talking shit. So
Yeah.
everyone who accuses me of talking shit, I'm just keeping my mouth shut.
Stop talking shit, Josh.
Yeah, stop
The
it.
Tentaskull
It's
is
one
one
of
of
my
Miranda's
favorites.
favorites.
It is. I love him.
And so those were Mile High.
No, so Mile High has the molds now, but they were originally produced by Intercept.
Nice.
Where's Intercept?
They're in China.
In China.
They actually had a booth at DesignerCon this year.
Oh, nice.
So I gotta meet the guy that is actually responsible for it.
Cool.
Yeah,
That's cool.
that's awesome. So did you move the molds?
Yeah, because I just wanted to try some stuff and like at a certain point, like with all of those factories, like you become less important.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get the things that you want on the time frame that they can give them to you.
Mm-hmm.
And so moving the molds was kind of like a way to be able to get what I wanted.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. So what do you have coming up next?
So did you get the email?
I did. Do you want me to pull it up?
Sure. So the first one, the Flatwoods Monster, is probably like the next new thing I'll make.
All right. I need a second. It's on that computer that Alex is on, but I can bring it over in here. 1 second.
And then I've been doing sculpting for several people, but like the second one that's in that email is like the latest thing that I've been sculpting for Elixir Toys.
Okay. 1 second.
I mean, you've got so many cool like so many cool sculpts out here, and then you double cast a lot of them. It's beautiful. Which
Thank
ones are you like the most excited about that you've done in the last couple of years? Which ones
I
do you
don't
think
know.
hit the mark?
I'm difficult to kind of have a favorite. I get more excited by like the weird things that happen in each casting, where
Yeah.
it's like if just some kind of crazy marbling happened,
Mm-hmm.
then it's like, oh man, I really like that one. Like that's the kind of stuff that I get, I nerd out about.
Yeah.
I guess I would probably say like Wendy and Windy are probably like the two things that I'm most proud of. As far as like, I made these things, I designed them, I came up with a crazy idea, and it, lived up to my expectations.
Yeah.
So like those two sculpts are probably like my favorite thing, and probably the most representative of like the things that I want to do.
Okay. I mean, the Wendy is beautiful. I was amazed the first time I saw one. I think I saw it for the first time at DesignerCon a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, there it is. I love making Wendy's.
Yeah. Dave loves hearing about, all of my drama when it comes to making stuff. But he's good about telling me about his drama too. So that's good.
I'm just adding the images. Give me 1 second.
1 second.
I'm excited.
But that, I don't know if you guys saw the cherub. It was like one of the most recent things that I did. I have one right here I can show off.
Oh yeah, nice. Whoa.
Oh, here we go.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at that right now. That's so cool.
So yeah, this is one of those things where it's like the idea has just been sitting there for a long time.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And like I wasn't really sure of the execution about how to do it. And then I had just had the incentive to actually move forward on it for once, and I was like, all right.
Is that is that like gold leaf or bronze leaf?
Yeah. So I had this idea like stuck in my head that for some reason when I finished those up, like I needed to try some kind of leafing on them, and I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out. And by the time they were like done, I was like, oh man, like this turned out way cooler than I expected. And so
On the outside or the inside?
So on this cherub, the cherubs, they're all the leafing is under the clear coat, but they actually do have some leafing on the inside.
Yeah.
I mean it gets difficult to see.
Yeah.
And then like I did these mushroom guys.
Yep, those are so cool.
Those are awesome.
And I was like trying out the leafing on those too, and I was like really excited about how that turned out. So I think the leafing is going to be something that I mess around with more going forward.
This is awesome.
All right.
So yeah, this guy is for Elixir. So this is one of the sculpts that I've been working on for him.
So
if you guys have seen the Fun Gusting figure,
I don't think so.
it's like a big mushroom guy. It's like a mushroom in a skull kind of.
Whoa. Do you remember Battle Beasts?
Oh my god.
They were
that. I loved Battle Beasts. So I have this story that I tell people all the time about. Like I would go to the mall with my mom, and she would take me to KB Toys.
Yeah.
And she'd just go do whatever it was she had to do, and I would sit there like trying to pick out the thing that I wanted, and I would be like flipping through the stack of Battle Beasts for probably an hour trying to find the one package that both figures had a sword.
Oh,
like
because they came in 2 packs.
I was stuck. If it had an axe, I didn't care for it. If it had a mace, I didn't want it. I only wanted a character with a sword, and I wanted to make sure both of them had a sword. And that was like finding gold in those packages.
Oh my god! Because this dude is like the walrus. The walrus was so badass, and it's so cool to see this. I'm just like, yes, like, He has the same sort of proportions and everything. That's so cool.
Yeah, it'll be a fun figure. Like I'm still trying to figure out how to do the articulation on it, because I don't know if you guys have ever. I'm sure you guys have, but it drives me crazy on vinyl toys
Mhm.
if the arms rub against the body.
Mm.
Yeah.
It irritates me so much because it'll rub paint off.
Yeah, 100%.
And so like this figure is like, a walrus is, real rotund, and then he's got like big muscles. And so like you have to kind of come up with a way that you can have that articulation work
Yeah.
and not, cause yourself headaches down the line.
Right.
That's kind of like my current struggle with it.
I love his claws.
Yeah. I also want to say that this is kind of what it looks like when I take off my shirt. So I want to say, like, thank you for capturing that.
What do bodybuilders call that? It's like gut bloat or something like that.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they got like the massive,
Yeah.
like the massive six pack, but they got like this massive belly.
That's a new thing.
So yeah, this will be like the next thing I do in resin. This is my take on the Flatwoods monster.
It's really
That's
awesome.
cool.
You might have to look up the Flatwoods monster if you're not familiar with it.
That monster. Is
It's
that
like a cryptid.
That's
is it a cryptid from what part of the world?
West Virginia.
Okay.
I think all of them are, but
Okay.
yeah, it's actually like an alien, is what the assumption was. So typically, what I like to do with the cryptid stuff is I like to do like a cute version, and this one will be the cute version, and then I like to do like a bigger version that's a little bit more serious. So like that Mothman that you were talking about earlier, that you saw, like that one's like the more serious version.
Okay.
So like the full Flatwoods monster will be slightly creepier and like less cartoony proportions and fun stuff.
This one's pretty creepy.
You have such a clear style, though. Like you can see it across all of your work. That's got
I
your.
would say that's intentional, but it's not.
It is, because it comes out of your brain. So it's super intentional, actually.
I mean, the face on that creature looks kind of like the Wendy to me.
Yeah.
Is that intentional or?
There we go.
Oh yeah. Like I think if you go and look at like probably 90% of the skull type things that I do on my toys, like they're all very similar because that's kind of the way I like to make them look.
Do you reuse parts of your 3D to speed it up? Now you do everything from scratch?
Yeah.
You're a madman.
No, I'm just not smart.
I don't think that's true.
No, I think there's something to be said for like you can look for all those efficiencies for like, a production environment.
Yeah.
But for like my personal art, like I don't want to do that stuff because, I want to own the process for every new thing. And you never know like what you might learn, hey, I did this thing for the 100th time.
Yeah.
And I kind of found a new way I like to do it. So do that for a while.
I think that's really important.
Yeah.
And for a while there, when I was in art school, I was obsessed with painters that would paint the same thing over and over and over again, slightly different each time. And
like the guys that would do like the painting from their balcony at different times of the day.
Exactly.
Same thing.
Exactly. Yeah, my favorite was Giorgio de Chirico.
I pretend like I knew who that is, but I don't.
It's okay. He's not like one of the big famous, masters. He's a master, but he's not one of the famous ones. But if you really delve into his work, he was psychotic. It's amazing.
It's amazing how many of them are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You've got to be a little bit crazy to be an artist. It's okay.
It's the paint.
It's okay.
It's the fumes.
It's everything.
Elliot said
Elliot has a
something. Yeah. I
question.
was saying, put this up. I want
He says, why is the toy world so secretive and mysterious? Why does every drop have to be surprising? Why can't we just know what you're working on before it drops?
Tell us the answer.
I
I want Brandon to tell us the
Alright.
answer. Tell us
So,
It's
I
so-
think I am not secretive or mysterious. I'm lazy.
I love it.
I like, for whatever reason, I feel like if I do an Instagram post, like, it needs to be decently well thought out.
Mhm.
And I like that just weighs on me, so I tend to avoid it. I have a Facebook group, which, like, if you're a aspiring toy maker, start a Facebook group, because holy crap, they work.
Yep.
Never thought they would, but like, one of my collectors was like, "Can I please start this?" And you need a Facebook group.
Yep.
But like, I'll post whatever on there. Like, I'll just take a picture of like my downdraft table with like 15 things on it that I'm like, this is what I'm sanding this week.
Yeah. It's
I
awesome.
promise it'll look good eventually.
Yeah. No, I'm part of that group, and it's awesome because you are so active on there.
Yeah, it's nice to just be able to like do something casually and like have people know that like, this is what it looks like now, but the end result will be good, you know?
Right. Absolutely. The other thing that I would say in response to Elliot's question, I think there's a few answers to that. I think most artists don't know what they're dropping until they drop it, because they're working on it and like, maybe I'll drop this, maybe I'll drop that. So that's like one thing. And then another thing is that social media has made everything so now that if you post something too early, people have forgotten about it and moved on by the time that you've dropped it. That's what we've experienced in the last like 5 years, right?
Mhm.
It used to be that we'd give everybody like 2 weeks lead up to a toy drop and like hype it up and talk about it, hype it up and talk about it. And now people are like, hey, I saw you on YouTube. If you do that and lead a 2-week run up, by the time you drop it, people are like, oh yeah, I thought that already happened. I thought it had sold out already. So I think there's a couple of different reasons.
Yeah, the window's pretty tight for telling people about something, getting them excited, and then dropping it.
Yeah.
I know we talked.
Attention spans.
Yeah, we talked to some of the bigger companies, and they feel the same way. And I feel like even
some of the bigger companies have moved on to telling people about a drop the day of the drop, like 2 hours before, and then just dropping it and not even doing any promotion. So
That seems so risky.
it is risky.
very
I think it's
risky,
risky, especially for those companies.
but you get
People
that
need
like
to line their finances up for a lot of this stuff.
Right.
Mhm.
I guess once it's up, they're okay. But it changes the way they try and build up hype.
Yeah.
It's strange.
I typically will have like multiple things in progress at any given time, but just because I've started something doesn't mean that I will finish it.
Right.
So like, I tend to not tease something unless I know it's going to make sure it's going to get done. And like, that's kind of, you know, I'm sure everybody's like that, where they've started 15 projects and 3 of them are going to actually make it to the end.
Right.
So it doesn't really make sense to show them all off until you know that, like, all right, like, this one's worth chasing all the way through the process.
Yeah. We fall guilty of like just wanting to make shit happen. So we'll make something and then move on to the next thing. Like, oh, what about that other thing that we made? Right? It was like, oh, we made that into an object, so we felt like it was complete. It really never actually got released.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot of projects.
So that we do that with.
Yes. It's
Well,
one
maybe
of
it's
one of
good.
our biggest tasks this year is to
Finish.
actually release things.
Yeah.
No, like, paying bills is way overrated.
I know, right?
You don't need to actually, like, you know, afford anything.
Yeah, like I made that. It was great.
Yeah.
That was it. Never released it.
There's actually quite a few things here that
Should be finished.
that should be released.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
I feel like it might be time for Toy Tank. What
Oh,
do you
yeah.
think, Alex?
I think you might be right.
All
Time
right.
to sing the song.
Hang on, I'm going to do a swoop. I'm going to do a swoop and then we can do that if I can remember where it is. All right, here we go. It is.
Yo, I love that. That's so cool. That's so good. Oh my god. So, hello, welcome to Toy Tank. I'm really excited because we have high proof toys. Oh yeah, Toy Tank. Yeah, there it is.
Oh, yeah, no, talk. Go ahead, talk, and then we'll
And
put
then
it.
sing the song, and I'll put it.
Yeah, totally. I'm so excited because we got high proof toys with us today, and I am so excited because I love birds. Anybody who knows me, I love bird watching because I'm that nerd, and I love boots, and so it's like really like
Boots.
a combination of my interests. So like this is awesome.
Wait, can I just say one more thing in there?
Yeah.
It would be cool if it also wore sweatpants.
Oh my god, I love that.
Yeah,
Maybe because we did this as well. So like we got high proof toys with us. So I had a little feedback from my mom. She called me up the other day. She was like, "Do not invite other people to sing the Toy Tank song with you because it never works. So just sing it along in your head as it goes along." All right. So
All right,
you guys know the words. Toy Tank, take me to the Toy Tank and show me your fucking toys. All right.
Good job, Alex. That was awesome.
Onto the
Thanks,
screen.
Debbie, for the
In the
feedback.
main space there. Oh, look at that. That's
Hey.
what's going on, Edward? How are you?
Hey, how are you?
Yo, doing great. Welcome.
Cut my head up.
Oh,
Thanks for
awesome.
being here. Look at all
This
those
is wonderful.
boots.
Tell us about your toys.
Yeah, so I'm Ed from High Proof Toys. We have our series, The New Friends. These are the 4 characters here. We have a new release coming out next week with a brand new size of our rock type.
Oh, too cute.
So,
Cool.
so this is a 7th annual Marble Madness. So this is the 7th year we've done it, and so this is the bigger size. And
That's, when does that come out?
so it'll be next Wednesday.
Oh,
Yeah. And so
Wonderful.
those guys. They're so pretty. They look like gems. Love them.
yeah, so this is the original. We call this the evolved version. So the ones with the boots. We'll work on the sweatpants in the future, but
That'd be great.
for now, just boots.
Right on. Where are you located, man?
So so actually High Proof Toys is 3 people. I'm in the suburbs of Detroit, and Mary and Andrew are in Portland.
Oh, okay.
We met in Chicago. We all lived in Chicago, and me and Mary worked at Roto Fuji. And so Mary was having a solo gallery show, and she asked me if I would be interested in making a toy with them. So that was 7 years ago. So
Wow. So how do you split up the work between you? Do you all come up with concepts together? Does one of you cast? Like, how does it work?
So we all come up with the characters, and then Mary does the illustration, and then her husband Andrew does the 3D sculpting and printing, and then I do the colorways and the casting.
That's amazing. That's such a good way to split it up.
I don't know how people do it all. I mean, we all have full-time jobs, so
I know. We were just saying that about Brandon. How does he do that with a full-time job and 3 kids?
that's crazy.
So tell us about the birds. Do you love birds like I love birds?
Well, we all lived in Chicago, and I don't know if New York is like Chicago, but there are pigeons everywhere. We like to call them rats with wings. So we came up with the pigeon, the bird toy. So bird with boots.
Love
Are they like rain boots?
Yeah, snow boots, rain boots. We've done space boots. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. So you have different boots for. I noticed that with the glow show, you had a different pair of boots that would go with the birds as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's-
it's
Extra glowing boots. Chicago fun.
Who's this little turtle guy?
So Twirtle. This is a painted one. This one I believe we're gonna save for 5 Points Fest this year.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So this one I airbrushed.
Oh,
Very
so
cool.
good.
So reminder to everybody to buy your tickets to 5 Points. It's
Yes.
going to be
Come
crazy
see.
this year. I'm so excited. It's
Is it going to be the full high proof toys team? That's
Yeah,
our-
I'll be out there. Yep, we're all flying out.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so good. I love all these. I love a little guy. I love boots as well. I love turtles. I feel like you're just really like speaking to me here. Like this is.
I don't know. I really like Pumpkin.
It's really
He's
cool.
rad.
I love the
Can't go wrong with a
simplicity of
pumpkin.
them.
Yeah, thank
So
you.
clean.
So over the course of the 7 years, then, has this pretty much been the main focus? Has been the burbs and the resin casting?
Yeah, so for Mary's solo show, the show was called New Friends. So the series is called New Friends. We started with Rock Type, and then Burb Type came next, and then Twirtle and Pumpkin. So Pumpkin was our newest. And then we've got, that's going to be it, kind of, I believe, for the New Friends series. And
Why is his name Trumpkin?
Pumpkin?
Pumpkin.
Yeah, he's just fun. A Pumpkin.
All right, good. All right, I'm okay. I'm okay. My heart started to palpitate for a second.
So yeah, so this is the New Friends series, and then we're kind of gonna move on from the New Friends, and we're kind of going more into like a kaiju style, kind of more, a little more strange, a little stranger stuff.
Whoa.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Cool boots.
We love the boots, but
Yeah.
we can't do everything in boots forever.
I like that you're evolving the style and trying new things. I mean, that's.
I mean, we're gonna keep making them, but just different colorways and stuff.
I got a question. Do you use safety equipment when you're casting resin?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was a discussion earlier.
When I heard that story about how high he was taking his pressure pot, I was just like,
No, it's crazy.
yeah.
What's a safe pressure for you?
I do 60.
60. Oh my god, that's pushing it. That's pushing.
But
it.
I've never used the Harbor Freight, the homemade style pressure pot. those scare me with like the C clamps on top. Yeah, they scare me a little bit.
Uh-huh.
You run out of the room when you pressurize the pot?
No.
Oh man, that's great.
Yeah, but when we first started, I was in a studio apartment in Chicago, so I was casting in my kitchen, so probably not very safe. So happy to have a basement now. So.
Are you allergic to cats?
So you first learned about toys from Rotofuji?
So I started collecting toys in 2004, and I found Rotofuji in 2005. I was kind of really into graffiti and skateboard graphics, and Tristan Eaton, I don't know if he was living in Detroit, but he had a show at the C-Pop Gallery.
Yeah.
And so it was probably in between Dunny Series 1 and the Dalek series.
Yeah.
And he brought out like all these awesome graffiti writers from New York. Dr. Revolt was there. I don't know if Scene was there, but Scene was definitely had some stuff in the show. And so it really turned me on. And then when I found Rotofuji, I fell in love with everything and started going there and hanging out with Kirby all the time. And then when I graduated college, I needed to start paying my loans back. So I got a job with them and stayed for 10 years.
Wow.
Amazing.
Wow.
Amazing.
Cool.
When did you leave Rotofuji?
What's that?
What year did you leave Rotofuji?
2017.
Okay.
Yeah, so moved back to Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
We got a comment saying that they love how the boots are the signature, and I couldn't agree more. Do you have pairs of just boots available? Do you sell just the boots?
Yeah, we make the little boots in zipper pulls. I believe we'll have some of those at 5 Points.
Good idea.
We did I recently did a bigger size, like this size boots, just for fun. I don't know. I thought they were like cool, like pocket size that people could carry around.
Yeah. So awesome.
Just for fun.
Do you still collect?
Yeah.
What-
Yeah. Like I've my tastes have definitely changed. I have like a huge Dalek collection, and then I kind of got into squats for a while. I was customizing squats and doing the lens chips, and that's that's kind of how I got into resin casting. I started making like custom parts for the squat toys.
That's awesome.
And then got into toys. And then I'm more into collecting stuff like Sun Guts, Gargamel, Buana,
Yeah.
kind of stuff. And I mean, I also like resin toys, but I'm really more into kind of the kaiju, Sofubi type stuff.
You collect Motley Miscreations?
I don't have any yet, but I definitely like the mushroom guy with the skull. Yeah, I've been watching that. I think I follow was it Elixir Toys? Yeah.
I wonder if there could be a Wendy with boots.
Yeah, nice.
Wendy and Boots. Wendy and Boots.
What is the name of the big guy with the antlers?
That's
Wendy.
Oh, that's Wendy. Okay. Yeah, I saw that at I think Decon 2018. Maybe you had it there. Is that right? I don't know.
I think it was like the last one before the pandemic.
Yeah. Okay.
That was like the first Wendy.
We came out for that show just as guests. We didn't have a table, so it was cool walking around checking it out.
That's great.
You just got a new collector, Edward. Yeah, Elliot's gonna start grabbing some of your figures.
Cool. Next
Elliot's an awesome dude, an awesome collector.
He is.
next Wednesday, give us a follow at High Proof Toys on Instagram. All the pictures and information will be there. So.
Awesome.
That's great. This is a good opportunity to bring Brandon back into the conversation. Like Brandon, with do you have any advice or any suggestions for High Proof Toys?
No, they've been killing it for a long time. Like I've been following their stuff for years now.
Thank you.
And like the marble stuff, like seeing what they do, I'm like, oh man, like that's some cool shit.
Thank you.
So yeah, like they know what they're doing real well.
Yeah.
Actually, the guy who first told me about your stuff used to make toys. I have no idea where he's at now. He's from Portland, and because he was trying to get like some kind of local show going together, and he was like, these guys are from Portland, and then all of a sudden one day he's like, they're not from Portland, they're from Detroit. And I was like, huh? So that explains like, you know, why you're from all the other places.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was telling me about your stuff a long time ago, and so like I immediately was like, oh man, this is cool shit.
Thank you.
He was actually at the last 5 points. Well, not the last one, the one before the last one.
That's cool.
You guys remember Slime Archetype?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know where he's at anymore.
Don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah.
What did he make?
Figures.
Figures. He made figures. All right.
Let's see.
So it's like, is the scene in Portland's very inclusive, exclusive?
There's no scene in Portland.
No scene.
No.
Is there a toy shop in Portland?
I know there used to be one, but it
Yeah.
went out of business.
It went out of business.
Like, but that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like Buana has his
Grass Hut.
yeah. So
But is Grass Hut open?
No, all the time.
It's open when he wants it to be open because
Yeah,
it's
he
one.
does stuff.
I thought
No,
he was like
they're like-
inside a different,
yeah,
like
they're
inside
to a different
loading
shop.
points or something.
Can you bring up all four of us?
Yes.
This is my favorite. This is the hangout.
There we go. Yeah.
Hang out.
So Buana's just open when he's open.
Well, they're tied to a different shop.
Right.
And I
Okay.
think the other shop carries like their stuff. Like they have like Paul Kaiju stuff in their other shop.
Okay.
And then like Buana's thing is just like, I think it's like a gallery.
Right. So there is a shop in Portland that carries stuff, but it's not really a designer toy shop.
Yeah, it's like a everything.
It's like an everything.
They have like comics and stuff.
Comics,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't have socks and candles and comics, and like
You're losing money.
if you're going to be open to foot traffic, you need to be able to sell stuff to the foot traffic.
Yeah.
And that's the issue. Definitely in like a small city. You know, very few people get to be Toy Tokyo.
There's a lot of pops now, which is really what sustains a lot of Toy Tokyo. So
A lot of blind boxes,
a
a lot of pops.
So
But you know,
I mean, that happened not too long ago at Clutter. You know, somebody walked in and we have all these toys, and somebody's like, "Yeah, do you guys have socks here?" I'm like, "Yo, do you fucking see socks?" Like, oh my god, totally. It's like, oh.
What you're saying is there's a market for socks.
Yeah, there you go.
I know the next thing I'm going to try making.
Everybody needs socks. That's what it is.
And candles.
Well,
and cars.
I mean, and lucky for people on the block that we exist on, there is a shop that sells candles
Cars.
and socks and also novelties of all sorts. And there's a place that sells pencils.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
There's like 100 different kinds of pencils, which is
Awesome.
that sounds kind of amazing. I would go to that shop.
You go in, you're just like,
Yeah.
oh my god, I have to buy pencils. You're like,
Love
oh, I
it.
just spent $14 on fucking pencils.
Yeah.
And you know, just feel good about it.
Worth it.
Wasn't a lot to spend on pencils.
On pencils?
Yeah. You know, a box of pencils is
I'm
quite
not-
expensive.
I'm not even talking about like special pencils. It's just
They're
like, ooh,
expensive.
this is a pretty pencil. This is another pretty pencil. If you go and buy like a box of art pencils,
They're
sure.
expensive.
That's it. I'm just talking about buying like
Pretty
this
pencils.
pretty pencils. I'm not saying
Is it a Ticonderoga?
they're not just Taekwondo.
Even they're expensive. We have to buy them for the kids every year.
Oh my god. Do you believe the shit we have to do?
All right. So let's wrap it up.
Yeah, baby.
Because it's that time of the day.
Wrap it
right?
up, baby.
8 o'clock.
It's actually dark out. Daylight savings time.
It is.
Not here.
Not there.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Stick a wick in your prototype. There you go. Make it your candle.
That's so
God.
funny.
Oh my god.
We just had a
Oh,
nightmare.
we just had a
candle
candle
project.
nightmare happen.
We can't talk about it.
No.
So thank you everybody for watching. Make sure you buy tickets for 5 points because it's going to be killer this year. Again, we want to say this episode was dedicated to Task One. ROP is going to be missed. Somebody up here wrote it. Where is it? You
Right
got
there.
it. There you go. Love to his family and friends. And yeah,
Thank you, High
Thank you.
Proof.
Thank you.
Brandon, so inspired. I feel like I don't sculpt enough at all. You've made me feel this big. I need to go sculpt 10,000 things and catch up to you, my friend.
You got this. I believe in you.
Your work is beautiful.
yeah. So thank you everybody. Check everybody out on Instagram. What are your Instagrams again? High Proof Toys, Motley Miscreations. Although you want to really join your Facebook group, right? Instagram's like secondary to your Facebook.
I try to keep both things updated, but
Oh,
Join it
Facebook
all.
one is they get more of the behind the scenes looks.
there you go.
There you go.
You want to be behind the scenes? Get on that.
Awesome.
Okay. Thank you again for watching. Check us out next week, next Thursday. But I think we have a hot actor next week. So that'll be awesome. We'll be back to our regular Thursday time slot. So yeah,
Cool.
keep collecting.
All right,
and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Good night.